Straight all day.
Now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That's the go-getter energy that moves anyone out there, me and you, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all this together in one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one masterclass, one show that you are listening to right now. It is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic is how to over-deliver as a habit. I'm going to give you my definition of what it means to over-deliver. It's very simple. It means to be better than advertised. All right, so this is when you have told people, or you have somehow, some way, giving people an expectation of what they're going to get from you, whether it's something that you explicitly said, hey, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Maybe somebody was hyping you up, telling everybody how great you were. It's kind of like an athlete who gets drafted into a sport and they don't really come out and say, hey, I'm amazing, I'm going to do this, this, and this. But all their fans are saying it, or all the scouts are saying it, and everyone who wants to see this person do great, the TV shows, ESPN, is talking about how great this athlete is going to be and how they could be the best fill in the blank in the history of the sport, or whatever. The player didn't say that, but everyone's hyping them up to be so great. And now they got to live up to this hype. But when that person is just as good or even better than the hype, that's when they're over delivering. So being better than advertised, whether you're the one who's doing the advertising or someone else did the advertising for you, or even the people that you are delivering to, they just need you to deliver at a certain level and they're expecting a lot from you and you're not even sure. You didn't even tell them to expect that, but they just decided that that's what they want to expect from you. Being able to be better than that advertisement or better than the expectation is what it means to over deliver in life. And today I'm going to tell you how to over deliver as a habit. How would you like to be better than whatever anyone expects from you every single time that you go out there and deliver? How do you think your life will be different? How do you think your career will change? How do you think just people's perception of you would change? How do you think your own perception of you would change if you're the type of person who would over deliver just as a consistent, regular, every single day thing? Now, you need to have to think about it. When you under deliver in life, in comparison to this, what happens is people get mad, that people will riot, maybe not actually riot, but they'll get pretty angry and they'll attack you when you're less than what they expected. Or if you're in business, they'll probably never come back to you. They'll ask you for a refund. They'll leave you a negative review on Facebook, whatever people do when they feel like you have under delivered. And we all have done it. And what I mean is being on the consumer side of an under delivery. When you regular deliver, meaning there's a certain expectation that people have of you, and your delivery is about on par with what people expected from you, people will be content. Like, okay, I ordered this pizza, and it's a pizza. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not an amazing pizza, but it's not a terrible pizza. There's nothing to complain about. It's a little bit greasy, and it's all right. Like, it's nothing to complain, but it's also not anything to write home about. You probably wouldn't go there again. If you wanted to get another pizza, you wouldn't go there unless it was the most convenient. You might try a different place out. Maybe there's somewhere who has better pizza than this one. This one's fine, but it ain't amazing. That's regular deliver. When you regular deliver, people will be fine with what you did, but they're not going to remember you. They're not going to come back. They're not going to go seek you out for future opportunities simply because there was nothing remarkable about you. There's nothing about you that makes you memorable. That's what happens when you regular deliver. And there are a lot of people out there who are regular deliverer individuals. If you're listening to me right now, I'm going to assume that you're not an under-delivering individual. You probably wouldn't even turn on a show called Work on Your Game if you're a person who's aiming to under-deliver. And anyway, to under-deliver in life, you don't have to try. All right, you can under-deliver without even trying. You can just show up, go through the motions. You will under-deliver without thinking about it. So you don't need to listen to a podcast or even anything that has anything to do with working to under-deliver. So you wouldn't even be listening to me. And if you did by accident, we're already 4 minutes into this, you already would have turned this off if you were trying to under-deliver. So I'm going to assume that you are at minimum a regular delivering individual. I'm sure there are some over-delivering individuals here. Maybe you have over-delivered from time to time in life, but you don't know how to do it all the time. Just do it on call, just as a normal everyday thing. That's what we're going to talk about here today. So when you regular deliver, again, people are content. They're fine with you, but you might not hear from them again. But when you over-deliver, people are not only happy with what you did, they're not only delighted with your performance, your delivery, but they will remember you. They will come back to you for more of what you've done, and they will tell their friends about you. And the reason why I'm bringing up the part that they'll tell their friends is because in the world that we're in now, we're in an attention economy, rather. You need to get people's attention in order for them to even know what you have going on. They even have a chance to deliver at any level, under deliver, regular deliver, or over deliver. You got to get the attention of the people that you wish to deliver to. They don't know who you are, then you can't deliver them anything. So you could be really good and not get a chance to deliver simply because you don't have anybody's attention. When you over deliver, people will give you the most valuable endorsement / advertisement they can give, which is what we all know as word of mouth. When people start telling their friends and family and associates about you from their own personal endorsement, not from your Facebook ad or your Google AdWords link or your Instagram posting strategy or your YouTube videos, not you talking about you, but other people who have experienced you telling everyone else who they have a personal relationship with how good you are. That is the highest form of advertising you can get. All right. Anybody out here, anybody listening to this who's looking into advertising, you're trying to figure out what's the best platform or the best avenue for me running ads. The best platform for you to run ads has not changed. It's always been the same thing. Even before the internet, it's called word of mouth. Word of mouth has a higher return on investment than anything Facebook or Google or Instagram or YouTube. Any platform that has advertising, none of those platforms will ever offer the ROI that word of mouth offers. So the best ads you can ever run is to get people, consumers who don't have a dog in the race, so to speak, to talk positively about you. Okay? I remember I did an event with Nike in 2013 called the Summer is Serious event. It was basically a basketball influencers type of event. Not all of us were influencers. Actually, only a handful of us who were invited and participated in this event were actual influencers. Maybe about 5 of us, but it was about 25 of us involved. It was a basketball event, and it was fun, of course. It was basketball. It was in the middle of the summer. It was held in Brooklyn, New York. But it was the way that Nike over-delivered throughout the event that made it memorable. That's the reason I'm bringing it up, because Nike really over-delivered to us, not to the fans, those of you who maybe have watched that, if you remember it, or if you want to Google it and you can watch my 4-part video where I talked about it. But it was the way that they over-delivered to us as the participants that makes me bring it up right now. I remember when I got off the plane at whichever airport, or I think it was JFK Airport in New York. They had a driver there holding my name up on a sign to take me to the hotel. They put us up in the Sheraton in Times Square, New York, that Sheraton at that time was probably about $300 a night. They gave us more free gear, free Nike gear and Nike shoes than what could even fit in my luggage. I remember I came up there with one duffel bag. I came back, I had to check a bag. I had to pay $25, $30 at American Airlines just to check a bag into what do they call it? Check a bag into check luggage or whatever it is on my flight home, simply because Nike had given me so much gear that it couldn't fit in the bag that I came with. But I was happy to pay the $25 because they had given me thousands of dollars worth of cash and prizes, so to speak, to take back with me. The way that they over-delivered, the experience itself, the event was just exquisitely run. The experience itself overshadowed the fact that we even played in the game. The game became an afterthought to the whole event because of the way that they ran that whole thing. They really over-delivered, and I remember thinking to myself, when I came back from that Nike Summer Series event, like, this is why Nike is Nike. It's not because their shoes are necessary. Their shoes make you run faster or jump higher than Reebok's shoes or Adidas sneakers or whoever else is making gear. It's not because their shirts and their shorts wick away moisture or keep you away from the cold or the heat better than Under Armour's gear does. And most of us don't do a measurement of that stuff. Of course, we hear the companies talk about it every now and then, and they say this and they give you these scientific things. Most of us do not examine goods at that level. 99% of us do not examine things at that level. We really don't give a damn. What really makes Nike Nike is what happened at that event. That's when I said, you know what, this is why they are who they are. All right, this is why they can afford to spend. I heard Nike spends $15,000 a second in marketing every single day. In the time that I've been talking, Nike spent $100,000 in advertising every single day in marketing. Why can they afford to do that? First question may be, why do they do it? The better question is, how can they afford to do it? The reason they can afford to do it is because when you deal with Nike, you get an over-delivery experience. Apple, the same thing. I don't know if Apple spends as much in marketing and advertising as Nike, but Apple could afford to if they wanted to. Why? Because Apple over delivers. Why every time that you're in a mall or you're somewhere you see an Apple store, why do you go in, even if you're not buying anything? Now, every time I go past an Apple store, actually, I don't go past an Apple store. I go in the Apple store. Even if I'm not buying anything, I just go in and mess around with the phone. I might already have the phone. I go mess around with the phone. Or I go look at the watch. Or I go look at the what do they got, the speakers now? I forgot what they even call those things. Or the laptop computers or the desktop computers. Or I just go in there and just walk around, just look around at all the people who are crowding the damn store. Why? Because I know that Apple gives me an over delivery experience that makes me want to continue to come back, just because I know they're going to over deliver in anything that I do involving Apple. The experience overshadows even the products themselves. I went to a conference called Funnel Hacking Live, run by this software company called ClickFunnels in early 2000. They did the exact same thing. You expect a certain level, of course, when you're dealing with an Apple or a Nike or a ClickFunnels or any company that you've dealt with that consistently over delivers, you expect a certain level of delivery from them, first of all, because you're paying for it. So if you're going to spend $100 on a whatever it is you bought, or $500 on a ticket, or $300 on a pair of sneakers, whatever it is, you expect a certain level because you're paying for it. That's the regular level that you expect from anywhere you pay. But when they go even further than that and they're giving you 10 times the value than even what you spent in dollars, you're like, wow, you're impressed. You're delighted. You tell your friends about it. You get on social media like, yo, look at this. Look what went down. Look what happened here. Look at this experience that I had. That is the word of mouth that actually sells more products. That's the word of mouth that allows a Nike or an Apple or a ClickFunnels or whoever you've dealt with who over delivers consistently. That's what allows them to continue to do what they're doing and build their brand and build the tribe and build an audience, because they over deliver, not because their products are just so great. The experience is the over delivery. And that's saying nothing of the personal benefits that you get from being an over delivering person. All right. So you get these outside benefits such as customers and fans and followers and whatever number of dollars that you make, sure. But there's also some personal benefits that you get from being the person who gives of the over delivery on a consistent basis. We're going to talk about all of that here today. So let's get into what, why, and how you can be an over delivering individual, how to over deliver as a habit. Point number one, I want you to remember that you're in competition these days. Now, while yesterday I just told you that not everything that you get involved in is a zero-sum game, meaning there are some games where everybody can make, in the business world, everybody can make millions of dollars in business. Why? Because the United States government, I don't know about every other government, the United States government prints money every single day. They just print money. All right, it's not backed by gold. We're not on the gold standard. The only reason the American dollar is the American dollar is because of the faith of people like us in the American government. All right, that money is not backed by anything real. Money is not real. All right, it's just paper printed up every single day. All right, it's not backed by anything tangible. And for most of us, it's not even paper. It's just numbers on a spreadsheet or numbers in a bank, right? It's not even, you never even touch a lot of the money that you have. It's just some numbers that you pull up on an app or in an account. Not real at all. I'm bringing all that up to tell you this. There are some games that are, like I said, not zero-sum games, but you're always in some level of a zero-sum game, meaning that you're competing for attention. In the attention economy, everything's a zero-sum game, simply because as human beings, we have a limitation of what we can pay attention to. We can only pay attention to one thing at a time. We can only really give focus to one thing at a time. So anything that you're offering into the world, and we're all offering something, your consumers or audience, they have more options than they have ever had before in life. And tomorrow, they will have even more options. Every day, your consumers have a brand new Guinness World Record as to how many options they have as to what they do with their attention. All right, so if you think today they got a lot of options, all right, wait till you see how many options they got tomorrow. And wait till you see how many they have 3 years from now and how many they're going to have 10 years from now. All right, the number of options to pay attention to continue to go up. And unless you are selling a life essential, such as water or shelter, food, clothing, shelter, or your competition is everything else that people could be doing with their time and their money. So if you're selling food, clothing, shelter, all right, people have to spend some money on food, clothing, shelter. It doesn't have to be with you, but they got to spend some on it. But if you're selling anything other than food, clothing, shelter, all right, people don't have to get what you're offering. All right, nobody has to have an iPhone. All right, nobody has to have a Nike, mesh sweat wicking basketball jersey. No, nobody has to have that. All right, nobody has to have some Rita's water ice. Nobody has to have a sales funnel. Nobody has to have these things. They are nice to have, and some people get themselves mentally to a point where they're like, this is essential in my life, but the only essentials are food, clothing, and shelter. So if you're selling anything other than that, like a game group membership or a book or some kind of delicacy, some candy, a cheesesteak, an iPad, nobody needs to have those things. Therefore, if you want people to buy your stuff, you're competing against everything else they could be doing with their attention and with their money to buy your thing. So instead of buying a cheesesteak, I could go buy some spinach from Whole Foods. Instead of buying a tripod for my camera, I could go buy a desk for my child's bedroom. Instead of buying a couch, I could go get my refrigerator fixed. Instead of buying a toaster oven, I could go buy a sandwich from the local grocery store. I don't have to have any of those things. All of those are nice to have. I don't have to have them. So understand that you're in competition with all of that every single day. This is the reason why you need to be over delivering, because people could easily forget about you. Even if they liked your stuff, if you didn't blow them away, they could easily forget about you and do something else with their money, and they don't need to come back to you ever again. Even if you're selling an essential, such as food, clothing, and shelter, bottled water, or housing, understand there's more than one place for people to live. There's more than one brand of bottled water for people to drink. There's more than one place to make sandwiches. If you have a podcast, for example, you're not just competing with everybody else who has a podcast. That's a big enough pool of competition already, right? All the other podcasts out there. But what are you really competing with? Because if I'm going to listen to your podcast, that means I'm not on Amazon listening to the Amazon video, whatever they're offering. I'm not watching Netflix. I'm not looking at a YouTube video. I'm not perusing Instagram. I'm not watching TV. I'm not going and seeing what's happening outside because I'm paying attention to your podcast. I can only do one thing at a time. I'm not listening to my Spotify playlists or whatever. The only way to bring people back consistently to whatever it is that you're offering is that you must give them more than what they're expecting and more than what they paid for. Let me say that again. The only way to continually bring people back to what you offer is to give them more than what they expected and more than what they paid for. If you're not doing that, that means you are at the level of regular delivering. And if you regular deliver to people, they will be fine with it. They will be content. They'll say thank you, but they may never come back once they walk out of your place. Once they leave your website, once you see the back of their heads and they're walking out of your shop, you may never see that person again. Why? Because you didn't blow them away. You didn't over deliver. Because they got so many more options out there today than they had 20 years ago, 10 years ago, or even 3 weeks ago. That why do they have to come back to you? That's a trick question. They don't. Point number 2. Today's topic is how to over-deliver as a habit. What does over-delivering do for you? As I told you that not only does over-delivering bring people back and they get you personal benefits, but you get some benefits just within yourself that have nothing to do with the consumers or the fans or the followers or any of that. What does it do for you? Let me tell you. First of all, over-delivering raises your personal standard to the point that you eliminate a majority of your competition. Now I'm pausing there because I want to let that sink in. I want everything I say to sink in, but I want this one especially to sink in. When you over-deliver as a regular thing, your personal standards go up to a certain level that most of your competition will never be at. So they're eliminated as competition to you because they're not even thinking about doing the thing that you're doing on a regular basis. Basically, it changes over-delivery. The habit of over-delivery changes the entire landscape of the game that you're playing. You see, the problem with competing on the regular delivery level is that there are a million competitors coming for your spot. There are a million people who are delivering at a regular level. So if you keep trying to deliver against them, well, you might lose even if you do everything right. You can win and still lose simply because you got too much competition when you're at the regular level of delivery. You want to compete against a million people, just be a person who delivers at a quote unquote regular level. It's hard to beat a million people, no matter how good you are, no matter how much you work on your game. It's hard to beat a million other people. Only one of them got to get lucky enough each day to beat you. But when you over-deliver and you start to become known for over-delivering, you ascend to a whole new plane of competition. Most of those million people that you are competing against at the regular level, they do not exist at the over-delivery level. The amount of people you're competing against gets so small and so narrow that you don't even have to be at your best in your over-delivery, but as long as you are over-delivering to win. You can get lucky and win just because the competition is just so small when you're at the over-delivery level. You ascend to a brand new plane. You become the person that people come to see. Is because your expectation for you is higher than everyone else's expectation for themselves. So in other words, your average day, your average delivery is better than everybody else's best. Your average is better than everybody else's best. When you get to that level, again, your competition changes completely, and a lot of it just shrinks and goes away. And when I was a sophomore in college, my basketball team coach said, every single game, our goal is to attempt. No, he didn't say attempt. He said we want to make more free throws than our opponent attempts. Now, what he was explaining to us, if you don't follow basketball too closely, or even if you do, was that he wanted us to attack the basket and draw fouls. Because when you only shoot free throws when you draw fouls in a basketball game. And our coach was telling us he wanted us to draw more free throw attempts. I keep saying that wrong. He wanted us to make more free throws in the game than our opponent even attempted, which means we're probably getting to the free throw line a whole lot more than our opponents. We are causing the referees to call fouls, to get the other team in foul trouble, and we're getting free throws. Free throws are technically what many basketball players, coaches, trainers look at as the easiest points in the game, simply because nobody can play defense against a free throw. It's a free shot at the basket. It's free points if you make the shot. The coach said we want to make more of those than our opponent attempts. He was telling us he wanted us to over-deliver at the level of getting to the foul line, so much so that even when our opponent did the best they could, it still wouldn't match what we were doing. We were still better than them even when we had an okay day getting to the free throw line. That's what it means for you personally when you over-deliver, is that you change the scope of the competition that you're competing against. You're no longer competing against everybody. You're only competing against other people who are also over-delivering. And if you haven't read between the lines, I'm going to point it out to you explicitly. Most people do not over-deliver. And very, very, very few people ever think consciously, how can I over-deliver in what I do? Very few people ever even think about it, let alone execute on it, let alone come up with a plan for how to do it. So when you decide to start doing this as a regular thing, and I'm giving it to you right now, I'm putting this on your consciousness right now by telling you to over-deliver as a regular habit, you're already eliminating most of your possible competition if you actually keep this top of mind and do something with it. Now, if you just let it go in one ear and not the other, then you'll be competing with everybody else all over again. But if you're a gang group member, you got access to this for the rest of your life. So make sure you listen to this over and over again until you understand it completely and until you start putting it out there into your real life. Your expectation for you becomes higher than everyone else's expectation for themselves. So your average is just better than everybody else's best. Point number 3. So that's point number 2. That's what over-delivering does for you. Point number 3. Today's topic is how to over-deliver as a habit. How do you actually start doing this? How can you start over-delivering and using what we're talking about here today? What you need to do is develop your empathy, your skill of empathy, your feeling of empathy. I don't know which way I want to word that, but just look up the word empathy. What does empathy mean? Empathy means feeling what another person is feeling. Not thinking what they might be thinking, but feeling what that other person is feeling. Because you've been able to step out of yourself and get out of your own head and actually think about how would this person be feeling based on who they are and what they're going through and how they're seeing the world through their eyes. How can I make myself feel how that person is feeling? Now, what does empathy have to do with over-delivering? I'm going to tell you. When you step out of your own mind and start thinking like the person or the people whom you are aiming to serve, then you can ask yourself questions that you'll get much better answers to rather than if you were looking at those people as the second person. Because right now you're looking at your potential audience, your potential customers and saying, all right, what is this? What do these people want? What can I give these people that's going to blow them away, that will be an over delivery to make them remember me? But you're looking at them in the second person. You're being you and you're looking at them. You're pointing at that person. What would that person want that will allow me to over deliver to that person? Here's a better way of asking that question. Instead of looking at them as the second individual, you being you, step out of you and be them. And ask yourself now, because you're being them with your empathy, what will blow me away as a consumer, as a listener, as a subscriber, as a potential buyer, as a prospect? What will blow me away? What will put a permanent smile on my face? What would wow me to the point where I say, man, I have to come back to this person. I have to tell all my friends about this individual. Understand something, ladies and gentlemen. Once you take on this mindset, when you can step into the empathy of being in the shoes of the people that you want to blow away, the people that you want to over deliver to, you do have to own it. All right, once you say, I'm going to step into their shoes and I'm going to ask myself what they would want, what would blow them away. You got to own that position because people will come to expect it from you. They don't know how you'll do it, but they do expect you to over deliver. I don't know how Apple, for example, is going to over deliver with the iPhone, the iPhone 20 that's going to come out in 6 years from now. But I do expect them to over deliver with the iPhone 20. Why? Because they over delivered with the iPhone 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I expect them to continue to over deliver. I don't know how ClickFunnels is going to over deliver at the next year's Funnel Hacking Live conference, but I expect them to do so because they over delivered at the last one. I don't know how Nike is going to over deliver with whatever event they do that I may be involved in the future, but I expect them to do so. Why? Because they did it before. So anyone who develops this reputation of over delivering, that's the reason why people keep coming back to you. If you stop over delivering, all right, now they're like, all right, this person is not meeting the expectation. They're going to go find somebody else who might over deliver. They want that feeling of delight, your consumers, your prospects. But if you stop giving it, they're going to go try to find somebody else who can. So once you decide to take this on, you're in it and you got to own it. However you do it, you do it. How you're going to do it, you might not know right now, but people expect it from you and you need to figure it out. That's the challenge that you got to put on yourself. And you got to take on that challenge even before you know exactly how you'll do it. Because if you wait until you know exactly how to do it, it'll probably be too late. You missed the boat and all your possible consumers are gone because they moved on to somebody else. So you got to take this on not even knowing how you're going to do it. Let's recap today's topic, which is how to over deliver as a habit. Definition of over delivering: being better than advertised. When you under deliver, people will attack you and be mad at you. When you regular deliver, people are content, but they forget you. But when you over deliver, people are delighted. They remember you. They come back for more and they tell everybody else. And word of mouth gives you the highest ROI of any type of advertising you could ever do, better than any ad platform that will ever exist. I told you how Nike over delivers, Apple stores over deliver, all kinds of people and places and events and companies over deliver. The ones that over deliver the best are the ones that you remember. They're the ones that come to mind when I talk about this, simply because you remember them. You don't remember the ones who don't over deliver. That's saying nothing of the personal benefits that you get when you over deliver, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But anyone who over delivers, they get remembered, they get talked about, word spreads about them. They don't have to do as much advertising for themselves because people are doing the advertising for them. Point number one, remember that you're in competition these days. Your audience has more options today than they have ever had in their lives, and tomorrow they'll have even more options. And unless you're selling a life essential like food, clothing, and shelter, your competition is everything else that people could be doing with their time and with their money. Even if you are selling food, clothing, and shelter, there's more than one option for it. So you don't own that market. You don't have a monopoly on the market. They have other options outside of you. So you still had to figure out a way to over deliver, even when what you're offering is an essential for people's lives. And there are only a very few essentials. So if you have a podcast, you're competing not only with other podcasts, but with Amazon, Netflix, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. The only way to bring more people back consistently to what you're offering is to give them more than what they expected, more than what they paid for. Point number two. What does over delivering do for you? It raises your personal standards to the point that you eliminate a majority of your competition, and it changes the entire landscape of the game that you're playing. The problem with regular competition is that there are a million competitors out there coming for your spot, and it is hard to beat a million people. When you over deliver and get known for over delivering, you ascend to a new plane. You become a person that people come to see because your expectation for you becomes higher than everyone else's expectation for themselves. Your average is better than everybody else's best. And point number three, how do you do this? You must develop empathy. Stepping out of your own mind, instead of thinking, what do those people want? Become those people and think, what do I want? What will blow me away? What will put a permanent smile on my face? What will wow me to where I say I have to come back? I have to tell other people about this. Understand that once you take this on, you have to own it. Meaning people will come to expect you to over deliver. Even though you don't know how you'll over deliver, you still got to figure out a way to over deliver. Work on your game. Dre, all